MicroFX is a plugin line designed to provide powerful creative tools with a focused and highly curated collection of effects that are meant to deliver refined and complex sonic signatures while providing a different way to interact with your effects through the XY pad. In this video, we'll cover the basics of the XY pad functionality that is common to all of the plugins in the MicroFX line. Let's go! At its core, the XY pad works by controlling two simultaneous parameters with the position of the dial. The parameters affected and their current value are shown in the X and Y boxes and are unique to each plugin in the MicroFX line. This approach allows you to experiment with the sound of the plugin while exploring the interaction of both parameters in a single gesture, like drive and tone in obscene or cutoff frequency and resonance in filter. The mod setting allows you to modulate and sequence the position of the dial to create tempo-synced gestures to add dynamism and rhythm to your effects. When mod is on, you can double-click anywhere on the pad to create a note, which will automatically generate a link from the previous position, or click on a link to create a note in between two existing points. Notes can easily be dragged around to find sweet spots in the effect, or lasso between them to shift entire groups of notes while maintaining their relative position. The speed setting allows you to set the rate of the modulation, while mode lets you determine whether the speed setting applies to a single link in the chain or the entire path of the modulation, which can be helpful when you want to modify the amount of steps in a modulation path while keeping the overall time fixed. You can determine the direction of the modulation by selecting the playback type, whether it's backwards or forwards between the first and last note of the path, or whether it'll bounce back and forth between the start and end. You can also create a loop that closes the path with a virtual link, represented by a dotted line, so that the dial can loop back to the start once it's reached the last note in the path. The modulation on the XY pad will always sync to your host's tempo, and you can choose to sync it to the song position in the main menu, to ensure that the modulation follows your DAW's playback, which ensures that your sequence remains consistent regardless of where you start your playback from. This is the common functionality of the XY pad for all of the effects in the MicroFX line. You can purchase the MicroFX plugins or download demo versions at Heavyocity.com, where you'll also find more information about each plugin, as well as tutorials and audio demos.